Hey everybody, welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie and happy October 1st. It's a new month with new goals, new excitement, and a new book that we are going through, Think and Grow Rich. I've read this book multiple times. I've listened to it on Audible. It is an incredible book and it's probably not what you think. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? And we are going to dive into what this book is all about and how in the world can it help you on your fat loss journey. Because some of you might be going, all right, Stephanie, I'm just going to keep following along because my goal every single day is to help you on your mindset. We'll talk about different recipes and we'll talk about, net carbs and total carbs and all of the things. And if you've been here for a while, my goal is to help you every morning with getting up and having a definite purpose. Why are you here? What do you want? Where is your mindset? Are you thinking negatively or positively? That is what we're going to focus on. This book may take us a little while to get through. So I don't have the next book. We're going to go through this book until we're done. We're not going to rush it. We are going to read it. We are going to take it in and we're going to enjoy it, right? So, good morning. Where are you tuning in from? And if you have the book, you can follow along and read it. If you're just tuning in here every single morning, then guess what? You get to listen to my highlights. Here's the basic overview of the book. So the author is Napoleon Hill. And in the very beginning, my dogs are going to bark. In the very beginning, in the author's preface, he talks about really the overview of the entire book. So basically, I'll give you a very brief. He wanted to work. So he talks about Mr. Carnegie. He talks about wanting to learn from him. So he went to him one day and he said, hey, I want to learn from you. I'm going to have to go let my dogs out. He went and he said, hey, I want to learn from you. Oh my goodness. And here's just the very basic overview. You'd think that I would learn every single day about my dogs. But anyways, so he got the opportunity to learn from Andrew Carnegie. The only reason he got to learn from them is because, The only reason he got to learn is because he said, okay, I'm going to give you a task. I want you to study the most influential, super successful, I would say businessmen. I don't know if he studied any women. I'm going to have to look. And basically he said, I want you to study what they did to have success in their life, right? Most people would say, what did they do to get rich? But what you're going to find in this book is he's going to give you 13 principles throughout the entire book of the most, at that time, years and years and years ago, right? The most successful people and what they did. And you would think a lot of them went to school. You would say, well, the first thing they did was get a good education. Well, guess what? Andrew Carnegie, I think, only had 3 months of education. And so he says, as you go through this book, every single chapter will give you the secret to what they did. There's a secret. He goes, but the only way that you're going to see or understand or actually take the secret in is you have to be ready for it. So what does that look like getting ready? You've got to have an open mind. You've got to want to see positive, not negative. You have to be ready to go after better. So my question to you as we go through this book and as we start a new month and maybe go after some new goals or we get refocused is, are you ready? Are you open? Do you know what you want? Do you know? Because it's going to be a great book. He says, know what you want, know what it is that you want. Because if you don't, if you're wishy-washy, if you're not focused, then you're not going to listen, you're not going to hear, you're just going to kind of go through the motions and let everybody else control your life. If you are ready to put it to use, you will recognize the secret at least once in every single chapter. He shares a ton of stories. I can't read the whole thing to you. And I would encourage you, even if you don't make time to read, get the Audible book. It's really great and you can listen to it as you're showering or getting ready for the morning, as you're driving kids to school, as you're driving to work. Listen to the book. So basically he says this, the secret had found its way into the possession of Thomas Edison, the secret in this book. And Thomas Edison it wasn't Andrew Carnegie, sorry. Thomas Edison used a secret that they talk about intelligently that he became the world's leading inventor, and although he only had 3 months of schooling. So he talks about interviewing hundreds and hundreds of people. He worked for Andrew Carnegie, and Andrew Carnegie said, if you will put in 20 years of work without pay, you will find the secret to success. And some of you might be going, all right, because he talks a lot about riches in here, but he's going to give you 13 different, how did he explain it? 13 different steps to riches, but it's not what you think. You can use any of these steps in any areas of your life. So, are you ready? I'm not going to go over that was the introduction. He said, remember this, as you go through the book, that it deals with the facts and not fiction. Its purpose is to convey a great universal truth through which all who are ready may learn not only what to do, but what also how to do it, and receive as well the needed stimulus to make it start. Final words, he says, all achievement, all earnings, all riches, all have their beginnings, and they start with an idea. So we're going to dive into the first 5 pages. I'm going to give you just a quick overview of what he talks about in the first 5 pages. And then as we go throughout this book, we're just going to talk 5 pages at a time. Whether you decide to read right along with me or you hop on and listen. So I read the very beginning. That was just like the intro from the author. He just gives you an overview of what he's talking about. He gives 20 years to this research without pay. And really he's going into telling you some secrets to success in life. So I'm on chapter 1, page 17. And I think every book is a little different. There's a couple different ways they published it. But I'm going through chapter 1. It says the introduction and just the first 5 pages. And here's what he says. Truly, thoughts are things. When they are mixed with definite of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their translation into riches or other material objects. He says, you will have a better understanding of the 13 principles which lead to riches or success. Riches doesn't always mean money. It could be riches in your health, riches in your relationship, riches in your finances, riches spiritually. 13 principles he's going to go through in this book that he said schooling won't give you. He said, one of the things he said was, if they would teach this in schools, they could cut school in half. It'll be interesting. I read this book a long time ago and I was like, man, I clearly did not read it or actually internalize it well enough to remember all of the principles. He says, when a man truly desires a thing so deeply that he is willing to stake his entire future on one single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he will win. So he talks about a burning desire, that wanting something no matter what. So for instance, here on the page, I could say, what do you want in your health? And what are you determined to get no matter what? What are you going to go after? What is your definitive purpose? What do you want in your health and fitness? I'd love for you to share below. Like if money wasn't an option, if your negativity never came into play, if other people's voices didn't matter, and you got to just simply say, I want this. In my health, what do you want? I need you to share. I need you to share. Because it's the first act of knowing what you want and writing it down that's going to help us figure out the secret and going after what you want, a definitive purpose. All right? It was what he thought. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll keep going. We've got a couple pages. You need to define your major purpose. Psychologists have correctly said that when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts it into appearance. Barnes is the man that's, there's kind of a handful of like people telling the story. Well, he's telling the story, but people that he was watching. He was determined to remain ready until he got what he wanted, until what she was seeking. So I'll give you an example. There was a man who wanted to work with Thomas Edison, right? He wanted to learn everything that he was doing. And he went in there and he said, I want to learn from you. And he didn't get to actually learn from him for a while. But no matter what, he said, if I give everything that I have, my entire life, I will not leave. I will work right along with Edison. He had a definitive purpose. He was going to go after what he wants, no matter what. It was a no matter what. And so he said, he never found himself saying, oh, what's the use? Oh, he'll never hire me. I'll accomplish this, and I will not quit for the remainder of my life. He had a definitive purpose. So here is something that he said. Maybe young Barnes, who wanted to work with Thomas Edison, did not know it at the time, but his bulldog determination, his persistence in standing back of a single desire was destined to mow down all opposition and bringing him to an opportunity he was seeking because he defined it. He wasn't going to back down. He wasn't going to quit. And he kept after it no matter what. What is your no matter what? I'm going to get healthy no matter what. I'm going to lose this weight no matter what. And are you willing to stand on your no matter what? Are you willing to say no to the birthday party or be able to go to a party without giving into your big desire, your big purpose, your big goal, and your big dreams? Can you say no to little things like a donut or a piece of cake or, you know what, I will get up even if I have to give an extra hour in the mornings, no matter what. Know what he wants. So he knew what he wanted and determination to stand by the desires until he got it. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting. When one is overtaken by temporary defeat, every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another in their life. The only way you fail is if you quit. So you're going to go through life, right? And then he tells one more story and then we're done. He tells a story of a man back in the gold rush days, right? The gold was in California. And he says the man's name was R.U. Darby. He knew there was gold and riches. He left his hometown. I think he lived in Maryland. He lived somewhere out east. So he sought out gold. He went to California. Oh, he lived in Maryland. Yep. He went out. He got the drills. He's got some land, got the drills, started digging, actually found some gold. But then he hit a wall. And in the story, it talks about how he hit the wall, nothing was happening. He figured he had found every piece of gold that he thought was there. Then he quit and he went back to where his home was from. He sold the land for super cheap. And the man that bought the land from him knew something different. So Darby, I think his name was Darby quit when he hit a roadblock. Maybe your roadblock is, I've lost 20 pounds, I'm super frustrated, I'm at a plateau, I'm going to quit, right? Just keep following me here really quick. So he sold it for super cheap. The junk man, they called him the junk man, that he sold the land to knew something a little different. He says he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. He bought the land for cheap. He sought counsel. He had somebody who understood the California land, who understood fault lines, teach him what he needed to know. So the first man that hit gold for a little bit quit because he did not seek counsel. This man that bought the land for cheap sought counsel and said, oh, we have to study the fault line. We've got to understand how this works, right? Therefore, he struck an unsurmountable of gold, which gave him a crazy amount of wealth. What did the second man do? He sought counsel. He knew that Darby quit too early. So here's what happened. Darby, the man that owned the land first, could have been super frustrated, right? Watching other people's success. Maybe you started this health and fitness journey with a friend or a coworker, and you both went after it at the same time, but you quit and that person kept going. And maybe you're like, oh my goodness, I wish I would have followed them. I wish I would have kept going. Here's what Darby talks about, the man that gave up the land too early. He says later on he has his own success because he learned from his mistakes. He didn't get frustrated and go, oh, I lost millions and millions of dollars. Well, I'm sure he did. But he got back up and he kept going. Remembering that he had lost a huge fortune because he stopped 3 feet from gold, Darby profited by the experience of his chosen work, by the simple method of saying to himself, I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because man says no when I ask them to buy insurance. So he has an insurance job. And he said, you know what? I learned. I stopped too early. I was 3 feet from gold. I didn't seek counsel. Then he dove into an insurance job and he simply learned something. He said, I will never stop because somebody tells me no. I will never stop because somebody says I can't do it or I'm not worthy or this is silly. I know what I want. I've got a definite purpose and I'm going to go after it. I feel like while this book might seem a little, not old-fashioned, it's old stories. The book is full of old stories of people that had success back in the gold rush and people that had, like Thomas Edison, right? Inventions, but you're going to learn some incredible tools to take with you in any single area of your life. So I need you to hold on to the book. I need you to keep reading. It gets more exciting. And I need you to know that in any area of your life, you can take these tasks and take these 13 principles and apply them to your life. The first principle is, if you quit, you will fail. But he took what he learned and he kept going. The only way you fail is if you quit. I wish I could read and just sit here and read the whole book for you. But anyways, before success comes in any man's life, he is sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing to do is quit. That is exactly what the majority of men do. They quit too early. So we're going to continue to move on. We'll start tomorrow on chapter 24. I think we went through 5 pages. Don't quit. I want to know today, if you, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll start on the 5th page, page 25 tomorrow. Let me mark my page. Here's what I want you to think about today. Do you have a definitive purpose? Do you have a definite desire? What do you want? So last month we talked about vision boards. Hopefully you created vision boards. All summer we've talked about goals and habits. You're going to see this repetitive underlying, like, what do you want? What do you want? Don't fail if you quit. Let's work on your mindset in every single book that we read, because it really isn't hard. It is a simple concept of let's learn together. Let's get up and work on our mindset, right? And if you can consistently get up and read or listen to somebody that's already done something before you, learn from mentors, learn from people that have already done it, you will have success if you don't quit. And you need a burning desire. Do you really want to have fat loss, or do you just kind of like, that would be nice? Do you really want to change your habits, and do you really want to feel better? Or is that like, it's kind of out there for somebody else? I think about it, but I don't really want it. Because he says in the beginning of the book, until you have a definitive purpose, a burning desire, and a no matter what. I'm going to do it no matter what. Is the no matter what no matter what kind of donut is in front of me, or what kind of party I'm at, or I chose to stay up too late, therefore I have to choose to get up early because I chose to watch the movie. It's not the excuse to not get up. Oh, I'm tired. Choices. We all have choices every single day. And in this health and fitness journey, you have a choice every day of what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, if you're going to work out or skip it, who you're going to surround yourself with, who you're going to let control your mind. Like, do you let those negative people in all the time? You are like the top 5 people you hang around with. So you might not get rid of your friends. You might have to pivot and make some new friends, or find an accountability group, or find somebody that's going to help you stay focused, not going to plant seeds of doubt, right? The only way you fail is if you quit. So I would encourage you to continue either to tune in here for some golden nuggets, or grab the book, listen to the Audible, or actually read it. This is an incredible book. I'm not going to say it's an easy read. It's not like the Miracle Morning. We can go through it, take some action steps, and put it into play. I feel like you actually have to think about this. He's wordy. It's storytelling. It's a good book, but it's also not a quick pick up and go. You're going to have to think about it. So I want to know, what is your definitive purpose? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want in your health and fitness? You may have tons of other goals that you're going to go after that we talked about last month that you can take these 13 principles and apply it to. But I want to know today, October 1st, what are your health goals? even if it's just this week? Or overall, what do you want? You have to know in order to go after them. You have to know it. You have to be able to define it. I want you to write it below. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. So, okay. That was a long morning. I'm super sorry it was such a long video. I try to keep them somewhat short. Here's the book we're going through. Continue to tune into the page. We'll be doing lots of things all month. So I hope you have a great day. I'm always here to help. Reach out with your questions and enjoy your October 1st. We'll talk to you soon.